Hi guys, Arthur here from Homeowner DIY. Today what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to install a shower base on a concrete slab. Now whether it's a shower or a tub, the key thing that you need to know here is the dimensions of where the drain is going to be. Guys, I highly recommend knowing what you're going to install before you run your drainage, so you are pretty close to where you need to be. You can make a minimal offset if necessary. Now, you don't want to offset anything if you don't need to, because first of all, if your drainage is quite high, you may not have the space for an offset, and also doing an offset will cost you fittings, which is time and money. Now, guys, for the technical level of this, I don't think that this is beginners. This is at least intermediate, because your drain has to be right underneath where your shower base or your tub drain is going to be. If your drainage is in the wrong spot, you're going to run into problems. So what we'll do now is material and tools. Alright guys, this is our materials list. So we have our shower base. This is a center drain. It's 48 wide by 30 inches deep. We have our shower drain, clear silicone, number 8 by 1.5 deck screws, ABS glue, a 2-inch solid trap, and then 2-inch pipe. Guys, this is our materials list. So what we'll do now is the tools list. Alright guys, this is our tools list. So I have the impact here, big set of channel locks, increment level, hacksaw, hand tools. I need a big flathead and a measuring tape, and then up top there we have our 4-foot level. Guys, this is what I need for tools for this job, so let's get started. Alright guys, first thing we have our shower drain. So there's a nut on the bottom. This one has a piece of cardboard and then a rubber here. So the way this works is you put silicone around here. You'll put the rubber and then you'll put the plastic nut on. And as you tighten the nut up, that's going to suck this down just like a kitchen cup drain. Alright guys, so the rubber will go on, the cardboard will go next, and then the nut will go on. Alright, so for this design, they have this little key that you put into one of the grooves. So it goes in like that. So the big flathead will go into the groove to hold the cup in place, and then I'm going to tighten up the nut on the back side with my big pair of channel locks. Alright, so the next thing is make sure that it is centered all the way around. This looks all right. And now with a rag or paper towel, clean everything off. Alright, so there's our trap arm there. So the trap will have to go in here. Now remember, the this part of the trap can swing back and forth like this. But with this dugout, I'm going to put the shower base in. I'm going to measure off of this wall to center, this wall to center. Once I take the shower base out, I'll mark the concrete there, and then that will give me a reference point on where this part of the trap, the FOP side, is going to be for the center of the shower base. All right, the next thing we have to do is measure where our drain is. So I'm going to measure off of this stud here and then this stud here. So off of this stud it's 14 3/4, and then off of this one it's about 23 7/8. So I'll take the base out and I'll make a couple pencil marks. Alright, so off of this stud I'll mark it. The reason I'm going off the stud and not the concrete is because there's nothing saying that this is actually plumb, that it's straight. So let's go off of what we're going to be measuring off of later. And then this is 23 7/8. Alright guys, so center mark, center mark. So the trap is going to be right about there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mark the back of the hub on the trap arm, cut that. I will put the 90, I'll glue that on. I will level the 90 so the trap will come up level left to right, and then we can always turn the dip back and forth to where we want it to be. Alright guys, we have our pencil mark here, we have our pencil mark there. Our trap looks to be in line with both. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the shower base in. I'm going to look through the hole of the drain to make sure this lines up. If that's all good, what I'll do is the 90 here, I'll glue that. I will put my level flat to the bottom, left and right, and then here I'm going to make sure that it's level so the trap comes up nice and relatively straight. Alright guys, there's our trap and it lines up with our drain fairly well. So I'm going to take the base out and then I'm going to make a mark between the trap and the 90 so I know where to put it, and then we're going to glue the trap in. Alright, you can't really see it, but for this seam line here, I made a pencil mark on the dip side of the trap, so it'll be easier for me to realign it where I want it to be. But what I'll do now is I'll glue the 90 in and then level it out. Alright guys, so our 90 is down, and you can see the bubble is flat, and the bubble here is on the high side. That's level right there. That means this is sloping back towards our toilet the way we want it to be. So what I'll do now is I'll glue the trap on, and then I will level out the base to get the measurement for our FOP, for a vertical piece of pipe between the trap and the base itself. Alright, so we have our pencil mark. If we look down, everything lines up. I've glued the trap in here already. So now the next step will be to put the base in to level it, and then we can get the measurement for our vertical piece of pipe, our fixture outlet pipe. Alright, so we have our base level from front to back. Right now it's level from left to right as well. So now is the time to take the measurement from the trap to our ring here and glue our pipe in, so that's all ready to go. Alright guys, so I glued my pipe in. Also, I would suggest in this case, because there's a rubber ring that this is going to slide inside, bevel the very end. And then last thing is backfill your trap so you have a nice firm base. But with this done now, I can get ready to install the shower base. Okay guys, I forgot that the homeowner wants me to put concrete in. So for our materials, we have our concrete, and all I'm going to do is put concrete around the backside here. So this is the front of the base, so just around this area here to give the base more stability. Alright guys, I'm using my increment level for the back. I should have a 2-foot level, but I forgot it. But in either case, so it looks like the right side is slightly high, and then right here you can see how the bubble is, it means the back is a little bit high right now, but that's fine. The pipe fits into the drain quite nicely, so that works out well. So when I tap the back of the shower base down, that is going to have the pipe slide up into the rubber gasket. But what I'll do now is I'll get ready to pour concrete around the base. So guys, the concrete will be around the backside here just to reinforce the base of the base. Alright, so I have my 2 little piles of concrete, and I have a small tin of water. Okay, now that we have a nice ring of concrete around, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put some plastic between the concrete and the base in case we ever have to pull this out. The two will separate really easy. Okay, so with the concrete down, I'm going to put the shower base in. Now this is general purpose concrete, so there's lots of time to get it where you want it. The left side, the diverter side, needs to be propped up a little bit more than the right side. But with this concrete base, this will give you a lot of flexibility to get the base right where you want it. Okay, so that is now level all the way around. Guys, one thing with concrete, you don't want to push the base down and then try to lift it up, because what you're going to do is you're going to start to compress the concrete, and then it's not going to be actually touching the base or the tub or whatever you're working on. So in this case, just put it down and then tap it down very lightly. The concrete is wet, so it's really soft, so you're going to be able to move it. But you want the concrete to be fitting nice and tight to the base. But this all looks okay now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to screw it in all the way around. Alright guys, once again, they're 1.5" deck screws. And I would suggest hit almost every stud. It is level. It is level. And it is level. Perfect. Alright guys, so I've screwed the base in all the way around. Guys, when it comes to screwing in the base, there's a couple things you need to keep in mind. First of all, when you have stuff like this, a big gap, because they framed it back like, I don't know, a 1/2 inch from the concrete. Don't try to keep screwing this in, because you're going to break the acrylic. What we'll have to do is maybe we'll put a shim in here. I'll talk to the homeowner, see what he wants. But for everything else, screw it until you're either tight to the stud or you see just a slight bit of flex in the acrylic. Again, if you keep trying to drive in the screw to take up any gap, you will end up breaking the acrylic, and I know because I've done this plenty of times over my long construction career of plumbing. But guys, with this done now, this base is installed. So what we'll do now is an overview of this job. Alright guys, so that concludes this project. So I ran into some problems with the concrete because the concrete is elevated in this case. Normally there's a wall that's framed in, but framing in a wall is easy to adjust. Grinding concrete is not. But I mean, eventually got the shower base and I didn't run into too many problems. But again, I had to work off the previous contractor's work here, and I mean, it's not the greatest, so it was a little bit more difficult than I thought it would be. The time on this job. The time was about 3 hours. Guys, I've had it where I've done a shower base in 20 minutes. I've had it where it's taken me 1.5 to 2 hours, depending on framing and other factors as well. The cost of this job. The shower base, the drain, the silicone, and the screws, I'm going to take an educated guess about $450. Once again, the drain and the shower base I didn't provide, so I have to go by what the homeowner told me. Guys, one thing that is extremely important, if not the most important, you have to make sure that your shower base is level front to back, left to right. The reason is, if your shower base isn't level, then your tile is going to have a gap on the bottom. So what they're going to do is any variation in the shower, they're going to set their first tile level. But if it's way too far out, they're not going to be able to take up the difference with silicone or anything else. So guys, make sure that you're level all the way around so you have a nice clean edge and everything looks good. Guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you learned something. I hope something here is going to help you on your project when you need to go ahead and do that. Guys, until next time, please hit the like button, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next project.